Okay. Hey, what's happening, Roland? Well, I'll tell you, I've been doing a lot of traveling. Now, when I left you last week, this is what's happening, Roland. This is the update of the week, and it's Friday. And last Friday, I left you in Venice, Louisiana, and we were sitting there with Jimmy Houston. I had Jeff Shaw from the O'Reilly group of stores, and then I had the Booyah guy. I had Mike Weiscarver, and we were all fishing together. And when I left you, I said we were going to go out and fish that marina, because remember I had engine trouble the day before, and I said Jimmy had to tow me for 7 hours up the river, and it was way after dark, and it was just a big giant ordeal. And if I hadn't been down the river with Jimmy Houston and doing all that together with two boats, I'd have still been down the river. Anyway, it was a real ordeal coming up the river, and we only had a short tow rope, and it got dark, and mosquitoes were biting. It was cold. It was just everything was bad. It was just a nightmare of a deal. But the next day was Friday, and that's when I did the update. Now I was with, in this case, Jeff Shaw. Now Jeff Shaw is the COO of O'Reilly, and we went out fishing that afternoon because my boat wouldn't run because I had an electrical problem. Anyway, we went out and we caught 20 bass. We went on that little marina that you saw us in, and we caught them on crankbaits, we caught them on spinnerbaits, we caught them on the old Senko. Now, you can't beat the Senko. I tell you, whenever you go anywhere, you rig up that Senko like I did with just a little 1/8 ounce weight, throw it in those pilings underneath the shade of the dock. Bam, that was a big deal. Jeff kind of worked the edge of the weed lines with a spinnerbait and actually did pretty good. We had some 3-pound bass. It wasn't anything special, but you know, when you don't have an engine and you can't go anywhere, you know, you have to make the best of it. Anyway, okay, what we did, we left Venice, that was and Saturday morning we got up early, and we took Kerry Say. He lives in Panama City, Florida. He's my cameraman. I've been using him. We've gone to Brazil together. We've gone down the Amazon. Kerry and I have done a lot of film work together for about 30 years. Anyway, we took him home. And so Walt and I got back Sunday. Well, Monday, not a whole lot happened. I had to just get stuff straightened up. But then I went Christmas shopping. Okay, the big deal was, I guess Thursday I went with my daughter. That was 2 days ago. Yesterday, and we went. Let me just show you some of the stuff. We went Christmas shopping, and let's see. I can't show you the presents, but one of the things that I had that I wanted to talk about was as far as Christmas was this. Christmas is coming up, and you know that I like to turkey hunt. And so Amelia, we got her a bunch of different things for Christmas, but this is the turkey that Amelia shot with me this spring. And what I've done, I've got this thing all ready to go. Let me explain what I've done to this thing. This is the actual fan of the turkey that she shot with me this March out there at Tony Adams's place. Anyway, isn't that beautiful? See, that's just all pretty as can be. And that's what we call the fan and the whole cape. Now what I did, I started with this here. See, I take the ant and roach spider killer, and I go on the back side after it's dried out good, and I put that ant and roach spider killer on the hide right here, and I get that really insect proof there. Okay, then I come along after that's done and it's all dried. I come along with urethane spray, and I'll spray that whole big area with urethane spray. And now it's insect repellent and urethane spray. It's all dried, and it's just perfectly preserved. Now we can hang it on the wall. Isn't that a beautiful thing? I like to hang them this way. This is kind of a cool deal. You can hang them like that on the wall. And isn't that pretty? And I can trim this up a little bit. I'll trim it up a little bit and make it a little bit prettier. Or I can hang it this way. It's a gorgeous way of doing a turkey fan. And you know, turkey fans are so pretty when you can get these feathers just right. You can keep just look at that. Look how pretty that thing is. Isn't that gorgeous? Turkeys are so beautiful. They're just a gorgeous bird, and they're good to eat. Okay, so isn't that pretty? That's just and look at that iridescent. You just can't believe the colors that they have. That's the Osceola turkey. There's 4 different species of turkeys here in the country. Now, I've shot them all, of course, but This is the hardest one I think to get. With the Florida Osceola is a real trophy. Okay, so that's her Christmas present. Now, speaking of Christmas presents, one thing that I got ramped going and really doing, and that is I'm still into the turkey call stuff. Now, I've been making these turkey calls for a couple years now, and I do a replica, and I've explained this many times, of the Neil Cost original box. This is this is his big boat paddle box call, and this is worth thousands of dollars. That's Neil's call, but you know my calls. I'm telling you, folks. My calls are great. My calls. This happens to be acacia wood from my yard. You know, years ago we had the Hurricane Irma come along. It knocked down 26 trees. It knocked down 4 outbuildings. And then we lost 2 sets of underwear in the process. Kind of a bad deal. We rode the storm out. But anyway, we took this acacia wood. It's a real hard wood from Australia. It's actually a hardwood from Australia, and it happens to grow here in South Florida, and I have many trees of it in my yard. So when Hurricane Irma came along and knocked all the trees down, I got all this hardwood of acacia, and see, it's really kind of a blonde wood, and I talk about where the wood comes from and all the different history of Neil Cost and how he helped me make my first call. And I've even gone one step farther. I've taken, and I got a completely waterproof call. It's all camouflaged. Look at this thing. It's kind of a new experiment. It's the acacia lid, but I've put this special compound. It's my Roland Martin original stuff, and it's just waterproof. I can look at this. I want to show you something. I just want to show you. This is really cool. This is so cool. You're not supposed to get a box call wet, okay? Listen to it. Listen to it. You're not supposed to get them wet, right? You're not supposed to get them. You're not supposed to get them wet. You're not supposed to. This is completely waterproof. Look. You can't do this with another box call. Sounds just as good, all wet and all nasty. Look at that. You can just fill it up with the water. It's completely waterproof. Sounds just as good wet as it does dry. That's kind of a premium deal. And I'm just kind of experimenting with that. But I got the right finish on this thing. I get this thing figured out. So what a Christmas present. Wow. You know, a couple $100. Hey, if you're interested in a turkey call, Judy M. at fishingwithrolandmartin.com is the website to get your own turkey call. Woo, son. Okay, let's get started. Let's get over here to the other side. You know, another thing that I did this week was today, let me just talk about today, after the Christmas shopping. Today, I went and got my COVID-19 shot. I got my booster shot. Now, I had the Johnson & Johnson single shot to start with, and then I went and they recommended the Moderna booster. So that's what I had today, and I feel like $1 million, and I'm sure I'm all protected from that, so I feel real good about that. And I just encourage everyone, I just think that having vaccination and having the booster shots is the answer to this terrible outbreak of COVID. So I'm a proponent of vaccination. I just want to tell you right now. Okay, so I did that. Then, another thing I did, I went to the chiropractor, and I'll tell you why. I've been throwing cast nets lately. I've been going over to the Headwaters Lake, and you've seen me catch all these shiners, and that's really a big deal. And I throw these cast nets. There was only one problem. I was doing a video the other day, a couple of days ago, Monday or so, Tuesday, and I took this big 12-foot net. I threw it, and I pulled a muscle. So I went to chiropractor today. I got all adjusted, and so I'll be all right. And he advised me to wear a belt. So I'm going to be wearing a little brace belt when I throw the big nets. But let me just show you something about a net. Let's go outside, and I'm going to talk about nets for just a second. Because I tell you, this is shiner season. This is the time to catch monster bass down in the Headwaters Pond. And I just want to show you this net out here. This is a big 12-foot net. I got it in the backyard. And I got it all set up. I just want to just show you how big this thing is. This is a monster net. This is like one of the biggest nets you can have. Now I'm just going to walk across it for a second. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 24 feet across there. That's a 24-foot spread. Now, in reality, when you throw a big 12-foot net, you'll probably never get it quite this open. It'll probably be back a foot or so. So rather than be 24 foot across like it is now, it's probably be 22 foot across. But that's a big deal. Let me explain what happens out there with shiners. I come out there with hog food. The water's about this deep. It's about 6 feet deep. And on the average spot, I'll find a nice clear spot where there's no hydrilla and it's a nice open area. It's water's 5 or 6 feet deep. I put these a couple scoops of chum on the water. Okay, so it's laying in a spot about 3 or 4 foot in diameter. On the average, and I have about 10 or 15 spots, say 100 shiners come in. Say 100 come in. Okay, boom, 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 they come in. Well, if you use a little 6-foot net, a 6-foot net only spreads out to 10 or 12 feet. That's only less than half of that. Okay, here's the problem with that. They're in a little wad, and they're in a little wad about this big around, and there's 100 shiners all feeding on there. And as the net hits, it's only 3 or 4 or 5 feet over this way, and only 3 or 4 or 5 feet over this way. They scatter, and about most of them will leave. Out of the 100 shiners, with a 6-foot cast net, think about this: if you buy a 6-foot cast net, you'll probably only catch 10 or 20% of what's in there. You're not going to catch many shiners. Okay, I also the smallest net I throw is an 8-foot, and some of those holes that I have are kind of small. An 8-foot net theoretically goes to 16 foot, but it doesn't ever get to 16. It goes to about 14. So if you were in the center of this thing right here, and here's where the shiners are, they're feeding on this one spot, and if you throw in an 8-foot net, you'd get it out to about 6 foot, about here, and that would be about as far as the net goes. As it starts to sink, the lead lines go down fast, and so it kind of scares them back, but again, about half the shiners are going to get out of there. With an 8-foot net, out of 100 shiners, I'll only get like half of them. Okay, now, I normally throw a 10-foot net. A 10-foot net, let me tell you, a 10-foot net theoretically goes 10 foot this way and 10 foot that way, but it never gets there, so let's go 9 foot, 9 foot. But now here's the little pod of shiners, 100 shiners. And now I'm going 9 feet, which is about here. And as that, I'm using a heavy lead. I'm using the Calusa net, and it has a 1.5 pounds per foot. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it, 1.5 pounds per foot. So it sinks really fast, and 1.5 ounces per foot. I don't know, it's a 1.5. It's called a 1.5 net. Okay. And as it sinks pretty fast. And so as the shiners are here, they come this way, they see the edge of the net. That gets most of them back again. So a 10-foot net really does a good job, and it gets like 80% of the shiners. About 80%. Now, going one step farther, if you really want to get into the commercial end of it, and you want to get into a giant net like this 12-footer, and now you have, here's the pot of shiners, here's 12 feet of line. 12 feet of line. This is 1.5 ounces per square foot. 1.5 ounces per foot. See, these are 1.5 ounces. This is heavy. So it's going to sink fast. And now by the time they swim this way, the net's down halfway. And it's going to turn them back. You're going to get almost every single shiner that you throw on. With this net, if you open it up like this and they were feeding in the center here, you get practically all 100 of them. So what an efficient deal, but it's not easy to do. And I'm doing subsequent videos. I'm showing the triple load technique, and I'm really good at that. And I'm a good instructor, and I can show you exactly how to throw this cast net. I can show you exactly how to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars getting your own bait and catching these big, giant trophy bass that are biting right now. This is wintertime, these big 8, 9, and 10 pounders. Last month I caught 3 over 10. I mean, this is the time to catch shiner fish, and all this next spring it's going to be just really hot, really hot. If you're interested in a guide trip, by the way, I do guide work, and again, it's Judy M at Fishing with Roland Martin, just like the turkey calls. Judy M at Fishing with Roland Martin. She can book all the trips in the world. Anyway, that's the net deal. I'm really excited about getting Christmas is coming just around the corner. So I didn't do bowls this year. I did all my bowls last year, and I had my workshop for that. But this year I'm just doing a lot of turkey calls, and I'm just having a ball. I got my back all adjusted from the chiropractor. I got my COVID shot. I got my shiners all ready to go. Hey, I'm ready for a good new year. And I'm losing weight. I'm cutting down. I'm doing my push-ups and my sit-ups and my exercises. I'm an old man. Hey, but I got the vitality. And there's one thing that I do. This is the deal that I do. When it's time to go fishing the next day, particularly now that it's trophy bass season, and I catch big, giant trophy bass almost every day on shiners, I can't hardly sleep at night. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. I'm really, really serious about this. I just love the big bass aspect of fishing right now. So folks, I appreciate you watching this video. I appreciate you subscribing. And this is the update of the week. And hey, Merry Christmas.